If you think about social media in the framework of if it was a club or a live event and your followers were audience members, the idea that not all your audience members can hear the show,
Right.
if you put it in that perspective, you're like, dude, this is crazy.
I'm spending money. You won't give me what I asked for.
Why is Sebastian the Crab so goddamn sexy?
I'm going insane right now.
Andrew Tate Angel Food Cake. Oh, have you seen Snuffleupagus? Because I think that's a big thing, at least from what I've heard, just talking to comics in the local scenes and stuff, where they talk about how, scenes have ceilings and stuff like that, and a lot of people, you see them, they've been in a small comedy scene for 10 years.
Yeah.
And they're not doing anything because they've reached the ceiling. They've reached the height that you can reach within that scene. And instead of going to a bigger comedy scene to start over and reach a new height, they just kind of stagnate.
Yeah, I mean, people do that a lot, but I think that the beauty of kind of what we were talking about earlier when we were kind of talking about how the generation kind of that I'm in, they weren't really taught the way that the generation before us was taught. Like, because the generation before us, they had comics that kind of came along and brought them along.
Yeah.
And we didn't really have that. We were kind of like, because they were still trying to figure out their stuff. And so, like, we didn't have anybody to kind of be like, hey, come on the road. Like the generation before us, they had, like, guys like Keith Robinson in New York was very influential of all these, like, young comics.
Big.
Like, there's, like, a whole thing of, like, I mean, like, dude, you just named that car. That car coming from Philly had Kevin Hart in it, Kurt Metzger, Mike Vecchione, Big J. I mean, you had all these comics that were in, like, and Keith molded all those dudes and gave them very sound advice. And I mean, there wasn't, when I was in New York, I didn't have any of those dudes.
Right.
Like, I was cool with all those, like, a lot of guys.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of, like, kind of like youth that we were around hanging out, and there was a lot of us too. Like, this generation of comic. That's why there's so many of us, because we were just everywhere. And older comics didn't really know what to do with us.
Yeah.
But that was kind of the thing is all these older comics are again, like, hating on TikTok clips and YouTube and what, you're putting a free special out or something like that. And you're like, yeah, you didn't really teach me. Like, you never taught me how to go and negotiate with a booker about my price. You didn't really tell me how do I seek out a manager or an agent? Like, you didn't teach me any of this stuff. Like, a lot of times, like, they'll even talk about how much you should, like, get paid, like, all these things, like, negotiated, like, all that stuff. They don't, you don't learn any of that stuff, so you kind of just got to figure it out on the fly. And then so it's like, you didn't teach us any of this stuff, and so now we just kind of had to figure it out on our own.
Right.
And we figured it out. We built followings,
Yeah.
and you're mad at how we did it. And so, like, and now we also made New York and LA kind of not necessary as much as it used to be, because you have people that, like, can build followings in Florida. You have people that can build followings in Denver, Colorado. You have people that can build followings in Houston, Texas. Ali Sadiq never left Houston, Texas. Never.
That's so wild.
And the dude is one of the sickest comics alive.
Yes. 100%.
So I think it's a thing where you, like, when you have, like, an unconventional way, like, it teaches you how to really kind of make your own way.
Right.
And it's like, a lot of them don't like it, but it's like, yeah, we wanted to learn your way and you weren't interested in teaching us. Yeah. So we found our own way, and now
it's working.
It's working.
Right.
We're plugged in directly to our audience.
Yeah.
If you get to that level, like, also getting that level, because now we're in a social media world where it's like, now you're dealing with a different gatekeeper in social media,
right?
Where it's like, they only play your stuff. Like, imagine
it's an algorithm.
I mean, the algorithm is crazy, because imagine doing a stand-up show and you're up there and all these people came to see you.
Yeah.
And it would be like the club being like, all right, so just so you know, only about 3 tables are going to be able to hear what you say. So, I mean, I know all these people are here to see you.
Yeah.
They've all hit follow and subscribe and all this stuff, but we're only going to let about 3 tables hear you. And if those 3 tables like really like you and really like, if they turn around to the tables behind them, like, can you guys hear this? If you guys can hear this, this guy is great. Then the other table, then we start turning the sound on all the other tables, and then the other tables will like it. And then sometimes the tables, if the tables that got turned on, if they really like it, they can get their phones out and then they can start recording. You know, it's a whole process.
But if they don't like,
but you got to get those first 3 tables.
and if those first 3 don't like you, we're kicking you off the stage.
Yeah, you're out.
Yeah,
you're out of here.
You're not allowed back.
Yeah,
Can't come back.
it is really like if you think about social media in the moniker, like, or in like, if you think about social media in the framework of if it was a club or a live event and your followers were audience members, the idea that not all your audience members can hear the show, right. If you put it in that perspective, you're like, dude, this is crazy. Like,
why would I do that?
It's infuriating. It really is. That you're like, I can't believe that my people can't hear the thing that they signed up for. And it's a very frustrating thing to deal with. But again, that's the thing where you're like, I would much rather deal with a gatekeeper like that than the one that's just like, you're fat. I don't like the way that your nose looks. Like at least that monster, I can find a way to beat.
You can trick it.
I can trick it. I can find a way to trick it.
Yeah.
I mean, dudes have been doing it. Some of the Instagram tricks that dudes have taught me where you're like, yeah, just do this or do that. And you go, oh, that's brilliant. That's great. And I mean, to be able to trick that monster is very like, it's fun when it wins.
Right.
When you win, when you go, oh, this is what this thing thinks. I got it.
Right.
Again, it's that hustle thing.
Yeah.
It's like, got me another one. I got it.
Game the system.
I got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to talk.
Mama! I'm free! Free! Free to burn!